Second graders at Emma E. Booker Elementary School, September 11, 2001, did not start like every other day because the President of the United States had come to visit. He was there to highlight their progress in reading. But minutes after he'd arrived, the unfathomable happened, and those 7-year-olds wound up on the front row to history. Now, ahead of the 20th anniversary of 9/11, I visited with the teacher and the students in the very classroom where President George W. Bush was told that the country was under attack. What's it feel like to be back in this room? Although it's different, what's it feel like?
I started here in 1993. This is my starting school. This is my home. Read, 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 read. The teachers were here day and night, reading, teaching, reading, but they did the hard work, and they made the gains, and that's why President Bush was here, to congratulate them.
The principal of this school asked you to greet the president.
I knew I didn't have to do anything but to say hello, shake a few hands. So I was pretty much calm at that point in time.
When did things change that morning on the way in?
We were getting very close to the elementary school, and everyone's pagers started, buzzing. We get these notes from the White House Situation Room that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
The motorcade probably arrived around 8:35, 8:40-ish.
The motorcade turned into Emma E. Booker. What happened once the car stopped and the president stepped out?
I've never seen people jump out of a motorcade all up and down the line from all the cars so quickly. And it was the president's senior aides running to tell the president what had happened.
Good morning. Did you know by the time that he came in what had happened in New York?
No, we did not. The only thing that we knew was that it was something important and something was happening.
Yeah, I mean, that day started with so much excitement for these children who were preparing to meet the President of the United States. And there was the room with the kids, and on the other side of that door, all of the White House aides were on phones trying to understand if this plane was a small plane, a large plane that had flown into the first tower. And then Andy Cohen walked through that door and interrupted that moment and told the president, a second plane hit the second tower, the country is under attack.
It's chilling to revisit those first moments when nobody knew what was happening, but particularly in that classroom, and you've shared with me that those kids who are grown up now have more complicated feelings about that day than you would think.
There's a bit of guilt,
Why?
Which was surprising because from their perspective, and I understand it, every other person who has some intimate story, some connection to that day, speaks of it in the context of loss, is that they've lost someone or something. They were with the president that day, and they don't want the notoriety of being the kids in the room and, oh, that was cool. They don't see that it's something cool to be a part of. But they do know that it's important to tell that story, to make sure that that history is recorded with the larger story about what happened that day.
And did you go to the 9/11 museum with them?
Yes. So most of them had not been to the museum. So we brought them from some in Sarasota, some in Atlanta, some in Dallas, Orlando, and brought them here to the museum. And that's when it all came together for them, especially the teacher, Mrs. Daniels. She said it was a dream of hers to bring her babies, as she calls them, to the museum, but she wanted to share it with them so that they could have that experience together. And you'll see that as well in the special.
I can't wait to watch it. It looks really interesting, and what an interesting way to explore it 20 years later.
Yeah. And the scope of time, that context over the last 20 years as they started as children and now have learned so much now as 27-year-olds. So be sure to tune in for my special, Front Row to History, the 9/11 Classroom, Sunday night, 10 Eastern, right here on CNN.